Hurricane Katrina was one of most deadly storms hit the United States. If you read the history of that area, you will find this is not the first one, but there are five hurricanes before the last one, which was on 1915, 1940, 1947, 1965, 1969, and 2005. Katrina started formed 322 kilometers southeast of Bahamas on August 23, 2005, as a tropical depression. Some of the storm clouds began to roll around the north side of the storms circulation center in the early of August 24th, with wind speed of around 65 km per hour. The storm was named Tropical Storm Katrina, then shifted to southern Florida on August 25th. After that, moved to dominate all Gulf of Mexico and Gulf Coast with a speed wind of 280 km per hour on August 26th and become a Category 5 storm on August 28. On August 29, hurricane hits New Orleans and central Mississippi. Around 80% of New Orleans sink 20 feet underwater. Many states affected directly and indirectly by Hurricane Katrina, like Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, and indirectly like Tennessee, Texas, Kentucky, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Virginia, and West Virginia, suffered by Hurricane Katrina. The total area of Hurricane Katrina affected around 90,000 square miles, 233,000 square kilometers. A lot of the population of New Orleans are poor and didn't have a way to leave their houses. So, the government makes an emergency plan to take people from the unsafe place to other states, from Louisiana and Mississippi. But they didn't have enough source to cover all people. There are 1.5 million people in Louisiana left their houses before the hurricane hit and hundreds of thousands from Mississippi. Therefore, too many people are dead and missing. The total number is 1,833 people are dead. 80% of them are in the New Orleans, 1,577 in Louisiana, 238 in Mississippi, 14 in Florida, 2 in Alabama, 2 in Georgia. There are 200 undefined bodies were found. According to the Center of Carefully Louisiana, the Hurricane Katrina left a tremendous damage in the New Orleans of Louisiana and Mississippi. 230,000 people lost their work. 300,000 homes are destroyed or unused. Total amount around 125 to 150 billion dollars. Private property damage around 81 billion dollars. 1.7 million people live without electricity. The population of Louisiana and Mississippi had decreased after the storm hit. Many people thought of returning after the storm will. Others found new life in different states.
Donations were made around the world. Washington approved an amount of $10.5 million to aid the affected from the crisis. However, George Bush asked for an additional amount of $40 billion. More than 90 countries and organizations around the world donated to the U.S. They accumulated around $1 billion from these organizations. Many Muslim and Arab countries have also donated with huge amounts that helped reconstructing the ruined cities. The United Arab Emirates donated an enormous amount of $100 million with medical equipment, food, clothing, and many more. These donations were processed through the Red Crescent, which is located in Abu Dhabi. They sent their helpers to help fellow Americans. The Red Crescent is an organization founded by the UAE to help poor people and countries who are in need of financial or equipment assistance. One of the organizations who were known to respond immediately after the hurricane was the American Red Cross. They helped injured people to recover a long-term recovery in the sense of providing shelter and offering financial aid to around 14,000 residents. They relocated them to 31 states. They also provided meals and clothes. Although 1,800 people were victims of the hurricane, the Red Cross strived to keep the rest of the people in a good and safe condition. They served around 1 million meals a day. The amount of aid they received helped them recover from the devastating hurricane. Many schools were rebuilt and hospitals. Qatar started the Qatar Katrina Fund. They accumulated a total of $100 million. They made around 18 projects of houses, schools, and medical care. The Qatar Katrina Fund website has the breakdown of the donations. This organization is a non-profitable organization. They also provided scholarships to Americans who look to study in universities. They provide a 5-year master degree scholarship. Students who used to study in Xavier's University struggled financially. However, the Qatar Katrina Fund offered $5 million for a scholarship fund in the university. Many individuals helped the process of recovery to rebuild the city. Many locals were given good homes for them to live and continue their lives as it was.
After the world slowly responding, the U.S. called for Hurricane Katrina. U.S. received more than $1 billion in assistance to Katrina victims and rebuilding. All of these charities are relief organizations from all around the world have affected positively on the Hurricane Katrina victims and areas that have affected. But still some of these areas didn't receive any help for months, and that because of poverty and racial inequality. Many of countries sent support to US, but the US rejected because of the politics issues like Cuba, and that affect badly to some of the poor areas which need a strong support. The aid and support were not sufficient from the entire world, even as foreign governments offered aid. Many people overseas expressed shock at the slow emergency response. The donation from the different charities have divided to many areas in the US which were affected by Hurricane Katrina, but some areas didn't receive quickly support and their residents complained a lot. The aid which reached for some attacks area helped to recover the school and accommodation by the money which sent from many different countries for the school that attacked by Katrina. One example is the UAE donation, especially for a school, and that was important for the resident of the stricken area. However, all of the stricken area have complained for years after the hurricane because the mental health of the hurricane victims. This hurricane stopped the petroleum produced and import, and people lost their jobs and salaries. While the donation from the other countries have reached, there were many problems in these areas bank. These areas have recovered slowly. The Arabian Gulf countries have ranked as first countries which support US in this disaster. Kuwait was the biggest provider for US with $500 million and the UAE was the second. We can see here that UAE has friends and neighbors when disaster strikes. The donation was through organizations such as Red Crescent. The donation has used to rebuild projects and helped thousands of children, families, and homeless people. The US government faced many problems with some banks' rules, which affect negatively to the striking resident. However, the president tried his best to stop some of the procedure to help these areas residents. These areas were rebuilt slowly, but the entire inhabitant knew that not all the world stand behind them and support them. But we can see that Muslims and Arab residents who live in the USA made an organization to collect the supports, contributions, and donations to recover Louisiana and Mississippi.